This last question, do you think GDPR will bring heavy fines? Will we have an audience that will, I think the ICO is talking about an advertising campaign come the new year. Will it mean that all the lawyers will shift their teams from PPI straight to GDPR? Will there be a lot more sensitive people who are being mailed thinking, oh gosh, I didn't ask for that, I can prove it, and then contacting all the lawyers? I think this one's for you, Steve.
It's starting now. The big case on this at the moment is actually ongoing against Morrison's, in that there's a number of different things happening. At the moment, the biggest monetary penalty the ICO can hand out is £500,000. So they've only ever handed up to £400,000 now, and that's been against TalkTalk. Now they've 400 grand and another 100 grand to take up to 500 over the breaches in their CRM system that led to a load of account details being compromised. But on top of that, we've got a number of court decisions that say actually your rewards for distress damages and data protection claim are relatively modest. So we've only seen it go as far as about £12,000. Now, a privacy claim along the kinds of Max Mosley sort of lines of phone hacking claims can be an awful lot higher. What I think we'll see is firms that have a particularly big personal injury component that will get a load of claimants together and build an economy of scale, and that's exactly what's happened with the Morrison's case, in that there's hundreds upon thousands of former employees going after Morrison's. And it may well be that they only end up with about a few £1,000s each, but it will be enough for a lot of these big claimant personal injury firms to build campaigns out of. And interestingly, they're doing it using digital marketing, they're doing it using social media. So I think we will start, I think it'll be a while before we start to see these massive eye-watering fines, but we saw very recently, I think it was the Spanish data authority fine, was it Facebook, about 1.2 million or something like that, as a hint of what might be to come under GDPR. You will need to make a monumental screw up to get anywhere near the 2%, the 4% of global turnover fines that they're talking about. But certainly the fines around failing to report breaches, I think we will start to see used quite frequently, and you will start to see more claims happening. I think it's only a matter of time, because as people start to take the privacy more seriously or become aware of the fact that actually this is something we could, really take action against them over, it's inevitable that we'll see some more of these claims.
What do you recommend for SMEs?
Go back to the beginning. One of the new things that's coming out of GDPR is the idea, it's not a new thing actually, but it's going to become a lot more relevant, is the privacy impact assessment. There's a framework in place where you can start asking really relevant questions about what you've got, why you need it, and why you're using it. And as the other speakers have quite rightly said, Data Protection Act for a long time has told you can only hold just as much information as you need for just as long as you need it, and you've got to cleanse that data regularly. So if you go back to basics and think, do I really need all of this data? What am I ever going to do with it? And start having those kind of conversations. Look at the reasons you got it in the first place and then what you want to do with it. Then you're really not going to go too far wrong. But we need to move an awareness of data protection up into the C-suite. It needs to be taken seriously. It is not just a new health and safety anymore. Because these fines are now going to be really significant and you don't want to be the first. I mean, it will take a while, and I would imagine we'll see some very big eye-catching fines maybe against social media companies first. It will be a while before it filters down into SMEs, but it will start filtering down, and it'll be about things like spam. It'll be about recruiters taking databases of candidates with them. There's been some convictions about that fairly recently. The enforcement action is going up year on year on year. It's not always the huge amounts, but I think we'll start to see more enforcement action. We will start to see that pretty quickly.
Brilliant, thank you, Steve. Any comments, Harry, particularly?
Yeah, thanks. We're talking about size of SMEs, and just size is totally irrelevant to general data protection. Your risk management that you need to do on your data protection impact assessment or privacy impact assessment is based on the sensitivity of the data, the risk of that information getting out into the public. Basildon Council had a planning department. Every time you put a planning application in, you've got to put on the web each application. Well, they got an untrained person without any supervision whatsoever to put a detailed planning application on the web. It included all the personal mental health information about the people within the family, because they were putting forward an argument that they needed a quiet environment to build a house on Greenbelt. So for a month or two, Basildon Borough Council had all of this family's personal information put on the web. They got fined, one offence, £150,000. And, you know, arguably quite right too. Greater Manchester Police just got fined £150,000 because they were sending out evidence of interviews by recorded delivery to the National Crime Centre. So there's lots and lots of instances, particularly I think any public body. I think Elizabeth Denham is a Canadian who is making a point. There's far more fines, there's far more orders to desist from public processing data, and she will have a go at somebody very quickly. But just because you're a small business, don't think that it doesn't matter so much to you, because you might be an IFA, you might have all the personal information, a sole trader, you might have all the personal information on 200 people, and if you don't look after that data, you've got people with money who might sue you quite heavily.
Okay. Okay. These are just some quotes that we've got coming through from ICO. GDPR gives us a suite of sanctions to help organisations comply. Notice the word help there. Warnings, reprimands and corrective orders. Reputations, and we can't forget that the reputations of organisations is one of the key, unmonetary but significant aspects to all this. And then some stats. What we're trying to do tonight is to reduce fear, uncertainty and doubt. So there's some good stats here. Okay. Money Supermarket, we touched on that case study, £80,000, simply because they'd sent some portion of their complete database, an element of where the subscribers had not given authority to recontact them, and they tried to add it in as part of the email that they were contacting with. So be careful on, just dropping in an opt-in option to people that are not already opted in. Cancer Research, twofold fine there. So ranking based on wealth, they wealth screened, which is processing the data in a not open and honest way. And then they found information and telematched all those between other areas they were doing. So they were processing the data. And again, that's under the DPA as opposed to GDPR. And then the obvious cyber attack element of this is failing to take good housekeeping rules and regulations on how they're storing and using the data. Okay. So again, some more quotes on data breach reporting. I think it's more about, and as I said at the end there, it's about tell it all, tell it fast and tell the truth. That if you are seen to be caught between a rock and a hard place, then you have to be totally honest about things. Okay.